welcome to Ed Fluential Sports, where passion meets precision. As I'm your host, Ed, diving deep into the plays, players, and stories shaping the game. This is episode 7 of Sports Fanatic Forum. Uh, oh no, I paused there. We had episode 7. We're going to be talking about Raw. The Bella Twins are back together and going after the tag titles. We're talking about be previewing the Brunswick and 900 Global, both of their teams. That's the PBA season is getting started in a few weeks. I got a hot take about Jalen Brunson. Where does he rank within the top 10 players in the NBA? And the injury report obviously had Nikola Jokic come back. And the Columbus Blue Jackets are hot. So can they keep up this momentum with how hot they've been in their last 10 games? But with all that being said, let's get started how we always do for the Tuesday episodes. Where am I? Okay, my banners. Okay. Zips update. I clicked off the banners for some reason. But Zips update. We've usually been talking about basketball and men's and women's basketball. That's the main thing that's been going on for the University of Akron lately. And we're still gonna be talking about that, but it is a few other sports I'll be able to cover now and within the coming weeks. So the swimming and diving team, I recorded one of their events. They had 2 this past week. I was cameraman for one of them, but the other one, it was on the day of the Royal Rumble, so I couldn't make it. Had to tune in for the Royal Rumble. And while it wasn't, we already talked about the Royal Rumble. I don't got to harp on that. But the swimming and diving team, phenomenal performance, especially the diving team. Like, the judges were heavily impressed. Now, obviously, swimming, that's down to your own pace and what you're able to do. The diving portion of it, that comes down to how well you can impress the judges. It was definitely some dives. I was like, that shouldn't have been as size it was, because it was a few dives. She got 50, and I was like, 50? That's kind of high for some of those dives. Then there was a few of them that got like a 38, 39. I was like, man, they should have been higher. But Akron overall, they had a score of 132 to 73 within the swimming and diving. That's, like I said, the swimming is self-led in itself. So, and they were facing Ohio in the swimming and diving meet. But Akron was able to win that pretty handily within those 2 days. So great performances, great divers. This is the best they had looked. Like, there was some other competitions they had, like towards, like in the winter, when there was other teams involved. But this one, like tournaments, this one's just straight up Ohio and Akron. And Akron was able to get the win pretty easily. Now, transitioning to the rifle team, which I didn't realize rifling was a sport. That's the thing, I guess. But they lost to Kentucky, won 4,762 to 4,690. So about around 100 points they lost by. So it's not something super crazy, because they're both in the 4,000s. But within the individuals, Kentucky had 5, but they both had 5 players in the top 10. But Kentucky dominated the top half, where all the Kentucky players were. The top Kentucky individuals were 1 through 5, while the top Akron individuals were all 6 through 10. Just showing the dominance of what Kentucky was able to do, despite them only winning by just 100. I don't know how significant that is with rifling, since I don't know much about it going into this blindly. But yeah, I would assume that's bad that they couldn't have a single individual in the top 5 for the rifling event. So it is what it is. But moving on, now we're getting to the basketball talk for men and women. Of course, as we do always. For the men, they got another win. Well, got 2 more wins, because that's what they do. Now 18-4 on the season. They beat Toledo and they beat Kent State. Both of those games were about double digits. The Kent State game was the more impressive one, because Kent State had been having a good season, and Akron was able to come away with the win in that game pretty handily. The Toledo game, they won that one by 10. I think both of those. Was that game on the road? Because I don't remember I don't think I worked at the Toledo game. That might have been on the road. Yeah, it was. A Kent State game was a home game, but I was working the swimming and diving event, because that was the same day. And so I had to see the highlights and box score for that one. But they won 2 straight again, and now 18-4 on the season. Tavari Johnson led them throughout both games. Mahaffey was solid as well. So Akron, the men's team, continues to play well. They're now 18-4 on the season. It's not much. They don't do much wrong, to be honest. So I guess it's been a really good season. They're second in the MAC, so that's good. Like I said, they're 8-4. They're on a 8-game winning streak, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8. Yeah, they're on an 8-game winning streak at this point. Like I said, Tavares Johnson been leading them throughout the season. Mahafey's been really well on this 8-game losing streak, but they've got a lot of great production. Today, later today, they play Eastern Michigan in Michigan, so that should be a win. They also play Troy on Saturday, which I should be working that game, so that should be a win there as well. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, the men's team, they're doing a really good job, but they play Kent State again later in the season, which Kent State, I'm surprised they lost by 17. Thought that game could have been a bit closer, but it wasn't. They do have some games coming up, which is going, man, they got a 9 o'clock game. I don't think we've ever had a game that late. I got to check to see if that's on the work schedule, because we got a 9 o'clock game versus Massachusetts on the 13th. But when I look at the men's schedule, it's like a lot of these games, I feel like I don't see a way where they lose. Like maybe Buffalo, since they play again. It's like some of these teams that play again, I don't see winning. Like Buffalo and who was it? And Kent State. I feel like those games could go either way. Even though they did already beat them, I don't think it's going to be as easy for them to win those games. But the men's team been great all year. Tavares Johnson, he's up to 20 points per game, man, 5 assists per game. Evan Mahafey, he's giving you what is Evan Mahafey averaging? 9 points a game, 5 rebounds, 3.6 assists, and 1.8 steals. Then Tavares, he's also giving you 1.5 steals a game. Money allows 15.7 rebounds. I feel like he could have more rebounds. I feel like he could be at around 8 or 9. Still been really good. Played. You've had Tavares, Amani Lyles, Shaman Scott, Evan Mahafey, and Eric Mahafey. They've all played in all 22 games. So there's a few others that played in all 22 games as well, just haven't been as significant as the other ones that I named. And then for the Akron's women's team, they lost to Bowling Green by 18. And then their losing streak extended to 8 games. And they snapped that losing streak versus Buffalo. So that was really impressive. The Akron's women's team is hard to watch because they don't have any playmakers on that team. So it's hard for them to get wins, but they're now 4-17 on the season. Now, obviously, that's still bad. Like I said, they lost to Bowling Green by 18. Then they beat Buffalo by 4. And this is their first win in the MAC. And Buffalo is also very bad. So somebody had to win. Buffalo is now 2-19 and 0-10 in the MAC. And Akron for the women is 4-17 and 1-8 in the MAC. And so, but the battle of the two Eagles, it was a very competitive game. Meg Lucas had 16 points and 12 rebounds for Buffalo. Great game from her. Anaya Rose, she had 22 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. Shot 9 and 10 from the free throw line. She was really good. And they had a girl tonight come off the bench, get them 13 points. But she also had 4 turnovers. They had 17 total turnovers in this game. Well, Akron just had 11 turnovers. And they had how many still only had 10 assists. So playmaking still not great. But Shanae Brew had 20 points. Monique Mitchell had 15 points and 5 rebounds along with a steal. Buffalo, they had 13 assists, 17 turnovers. So negative assist to turnover ratios for both teams. Buffalo shot 9% from 3, while Akron shot 19% from 3. This is a really bad but competitive game at the same time. Akron did just enough to get the win. So at least they finally snapped their losing streak and get a win on the season. But back and forth game, it was a quarter where Akron had only 9 points. So they finally get a win. We'll finally get another win because they've been on a losing streak. It's hard to believe that team has won games at some point this season. So they have 4 wins. I don't know how Buffalo has 2 wins, so how they performed in this game. But that pretty much wraps it up. Pretty good week for Akron sports. The men's basketball team won 2 games. The women's team snapped their losing streak. They won swimming and diving versus Ohio. The rifle team lost by just 100. I don't know how bad or if that isn't bad, but for the most part, pretty solid week for Akron sports. Now we can transition into the bowling spotlight. As I've been talking about as I mentioned last week, the PBA Elite League features 6 teams, 10 players for each team, and the PBA Elite League has 14 events and 5 players can be selected for each tournament. So these next two, well, I did it last week, doing it this week, and then again next week. I'm gonna be previewing 2 teams, talking about how well I think they can be and who their top players will be over the course of this season. So so for this week, I'm gonna be talking about Brunswick and 900 Global. I forget who it was. Got to pull up who I talked about last week, but yes, I'm gonna be talking about them in a second. I just gotta check because I want to make sure I covered the because there was 2 teams I covered last week. It wasn't the. Don't think that's it, but wait, yes it is. Then there's a few people making a PBA TV debut. Well, no, they made it last year. Yeah, I talked about the Storm last week and the Motive. So this week it's gonna be Brunswick and 900 Global. Next week it's gonna be the Roto Grip and Hammer. So I'm gonna be talking about. But back to this. The Brunswick, their top player, you got Graham Five, who's been great the last few years. I really think he's the leader of this team. He's the team captain. I think he's gonna be amazing once again. Then you got really solid depth with Tim Ford Jr., who I learned about last year, I think. Excuse me. Tim Ford Jr., who was really great last year, who had some stand-up performances in the tournament. You got Packy Haranen, who he's usually like a lower seeded guy like the individual tournaments, but he's doing like he hasn't won nothing big yet, but I do think that's a store, and I think he'll be a big factor on this team. You got Tommy Jones, who's going into his 25th season in the PBA. So obviously he's getting up there in age, but he's still able to produce at a high level. You got Matt Sanders and Kevin Williams, who I think are great depth pieces who will have really good seasons as well. Then I think the question for Brunswick is, despite that depth, your other players, because you got to use everybody. And obviously, it's different players for each tournament. Sometimes it might be the same, but you can't roll out the same 5 for all 14 events. So the 2 guys that can they be game changers? Matt Oakley and Jake Peters. Can you rely on them to be game changers for that team if you need to bring them in? Because you might not have Tommy Jones for every tournament. Like if he's going to do his 25th season, so he might not be there he probably won't be there for all 14 tournaments. The only player that probably will be there for all 14 tournaments is Graham Five, maybe Tim Ford Jr. I could see them consistently being there for all 14 tournaments. If not, maybe they miss a couple of them, but for the most part, they're gonna be in those tournaments. But Matt Oakley and Jake Peters, can you rely on them to be game changers for the team? Maybe, maybe not. We'll have to see. And then you got Jason Sterner and Nate Stubler. Are they gonna be the odd man out? They could very well be, because out of everybody on this team, many people don't know much about them. And you don't know what to expect. So what are they gonna do for that team? Will they be the odd man out? In most cases, I think so. Now, can they change that? I mean, maybe. We're gonna have to. I mean, they can change it, but will they change it? I don't know. I don't think so. I think they're just gonna be the odd man out, because I think it's gonna take a lot for them to surpass that top 5. Like it's gonna, like it'll have to take Tommy Jones sitting out because it's his 25th season. So it's like he can't be there for every tournament. Like a Matt Sanders, like he might miss 2 or he might miss a few. Like he might be out for 4, but then that brings a chance for a Matt Oakley and a Nate Stubler. So then is it that when it comes down to the game changer, can Matt Oakley be that, or can Nate Stubler prove why he's not the odd man out? So it's going to be interesting for Brunswick. I like their team. I like, especially because I don't think it's top heavy. I just think it's a little bit more unknown compared to some of the other teams. Because I do like you got the veteran experience, so Graham Five and Tommy Jones, and then you got the good impact players of a Tim Foy and Packy Haranen. Then you got Matt Sanders, Kevin Williams. Then you got the unknowns / game changers. Like I really like this team. Don't think they can win I don't think they'll be the best team, but I do think they can be one of the out of the six. Maybe they can be 2 or 3. They won't be the worst. Don't think they'll be at the bottom, but I definitely see somewhere between 2 to 4. And then for for the 900 global, this team, I don't know how I feel about 900 global because do I know how I feel? I don't think this team is going to be great. And this leads me to my to the title of this live for this podcast. Timmy Tan he's the X factor for this team. 900 global, they're led by the dynamic father-son duo Chris and Ryan Barnes. Chris being the dad, Ryan being the son. They gonna do their thing. Andrew Johnson, he's the team captain. Aside from those 3, everybody else has a question mark. Not because they're bad, but because I've seen Mitch Hoop and Timmy Tan in the past. So Mitch Hoop, can he take that next step? Can he level up to be something that we haven't seen him be before? Timmy Tan, what can he? He started his career with the Asian Bowling Association. It was something like that. I could be wrong about the name, but he did start his career there. So is he going? I think he's the X factor because I think what he can bring. It's like he's been with the PBA for a few years now. I think he has to be the X factor. He got to be the one that steps up. He has to surpass what all the other guys are doing. Like if Andrew Anderson is out, he has to be the one to step up because Ryan Barnes, he was just first rookie since 2019 to make the PBA playoffs. So I'm already expecting big things out of him. If Ryan Barnes isn't good this season, I'll be disappointed. Chris Barnes, in the same territory as Tommy Jones, been in the league for a minute. If his age starts showing, it's like at the end of the day, age just caught up to him, and it might be time for him to be done. And so we'll see. Where Chris Barnes, I'm looking at him and Tommy Jones the same. Like the age very well could catch up to you. We'll have to see. It may not. It might or may not. We'll just see. But Timmy Tan, Mitch Hoop, I'm expecting both of them to step up. Ryan Barnes, I expect to be great this season. But Timmy Tan, I feel like what he's able to do is what's going to carry this team. Because maybe, let's say Ryan Barnes does go into a slump. Let's say Andrew Anderson misses a few 3 games with a pinky injury. Let's knock on wood. Don't want to hope for that. But he has to step up because the other guys on your team, obviously Mitch Hoop and Timmy Tan both have to step up. And then you look at the other guys for their team. They're a bunch of unknowns. Like we've seen them a few times, and some of them are making their debuts, I think. But you don't know what to expect out of these guys since they don't have their names aren't as known as the other guys. So you got Brandon Bonta, Thomas Larson, and Chase Nadal, Brian Robinson, which is also the name of a football player, funny, and Chris Sloan. So those are a lot of unknowns going into this season, which is why I think they could honestly be the worst team. I wouldn't be surprised if they were the worst team in the PBA Elite League this year. Maybe they can surprise me. Maybe Timmy Tan has an MVP caliber season. We'll have to see, but I don't expect that. I just expect a most improved type of season like you from what you did last year to this year. I just expect him to be better. I expect him to take that step. Mitch Hoop, I expect him to be solid as well. Ryan Barnes, he has to take that step from being the top rookie last year to now being one of the best in the league, and he can prove that. Like he has a chance to do that, but that's the steps he has to take. Then these unknowns, somebody has to stand out of these out of these 6, because you got Chris Barnes, Ryan Barnes, Timmy Tan, and Mitch Hoop. So that's 5 guys in those unknowns that I named that come after them. So somebody has to step up just in case one of them top guys does have to miss a game, whether it be due to an injury, a personal reason, or they just need a break for the next tournament, mental break. Let's say Andrew Anderson, he need to take a break to take care of some family business. Who out of those 5 unknowns, who is going to be able to step up? Is it Chris Sloan? Like that all depends. But I do think Timmy Tan is the X factor because he has the experience, and I feel like he can have a really good season and just lead this team to something better than I'm expecting. But I do think they'll probably be the worst team in the PBA this year. We'll see. I could be wrong, but we'll just have to wait and see. Maybe that's a hot take. But that leads me into the hot take of the week. So obviously, and once it hits 20 minutes, I'll change the banner. So the hot take of the week, I allow my followers on Instagram, TikTok, or people on people I follow or on whatever social media. I allow them to send me hot takes. I might ask, I might post. So the hot take I got from this week was from my guy Jack. He said that the Jack said that Jalen Brunson is a top three player in the NBA. When he first said this to me, I thought, you mean point guard? I had asked him, I was like, you mean point guard, right? He was like, nah, top three player. Then asked him to explain it. And then he said he had explained it. He sent me 2 voice messages. It was around 7 minutes. I'm not going to play it because I had to take up too much time. But I took notes on what he said, and I kind of understand what he's saying. So his point about Jalen Brunson is that so basically Jack's criteria, he values playoff production heavily, and he also looks at usage, and he also values usage rate. So his argument for Brunson being top three behind Jokic and Shea is due to his playoff production, because Jalen Brunson he has stepped it up come playoff time, and he's super effective without having that insane usage rate. Guys like Giannis and Luka, they require higher usage rate, while Brunson, he's able to create. He doesn't need that to create plays. Like he has a great playmaking ability, and he is one of the better playmakers in the league because of how well he is able to play without having a insane usage rate. He create offense because he doesn't rely on threes. While he is a good 3-point shooter, he doesn't rely on bad 3-point shots. He's able to hunt switches. He's great in the post, and he's able to find a good shot. And he is one of the clutcher players in the league. He did just win Clutch Player of the Year last year, if I'm not mistaken. So these is all point. Then another point that Jack brought to me, he was like, scoring elevators such as Dame and Donovan Mitchell, they rise in points per game and true shooting percentage, but they don't elevate their team offense. Which I had to think about. Like, that's a really good point. Like, their points per game does rise. What else are they doing for their team? Like Mitchell and Dame, they aren't these elite playmakers. Like, the Cavaliers have 3 point guards now, and they're probably going to get rid of them and get another shooting guard who can play a point guard, because Donovan Mitchell isn't that playmaker that you want on a championship winning team. And we've seen he's played with 2 DPOYs and still hasn't gotten to the conference finals. So that is a good point. Like, Donovan Mitchell and Damian Lillard, their points per game rise, their true shooting goes up because they're taking these bad shots. Because some of these shots, not to be like sound like Paul George, but some of those shots are legitimately bad shots. And sometimes they go in, sometimes they don't. But in the playoffs, those teams aren't allowing as many threes because the game slows down. So even though their scoring can rise, like they're good scorers, they're efficient, but they're not elevating the team offense, because what is everybody else doing? Because they have higher usage rates compared to other guys. And when you look at Brunson and what he's giving you 27 points per game, and 3 rebounds a game, 6 assists per game, at 47% from the field, 38% from 3, and 85% from the free throw line. And it's just his season stats. Like, I don't think he should have been an all-star starter. I think he should have been he should have been the first reserve, in my opinion, because I would have started Scotty, because I got Scotty Barnes in the DPOY race. Now, they both made it, so it don't matter. Just preference thing. I would have went with Scotty Barnes over Brunson as far as starters, and would have made Brunson the first reserve. I mean, or you could have had Brunson starting and had Maxey off the bench too. I guess Maxey could have, yeah. But overall, Jack, he values not having such a high usage rate and what you're able to do in the playoffs. Like, Jalen Brunson is a good playoff performer. Like, he is able to elevate that Knicks offense. We've seen them lose to the Pacers back-to-back years. But we've seen them get to the Eastern Conference Finals this past year, and we've seen Brunson in the conference finals before with the Mavs, even as a second option. So we have seen what Brunson is able to do. Like, he has been able to get to the conference finals twice. Now he didn't get further than that, but at the end of the day, everybody's not getting to the finals. So I can't hold it against him as a second option either, which I don't even think you can hold it against him as a first option, because another point that Jack brought up was Karl Anthony Towns. like as good as he is in the regular season, he's not giving you that same effort or energy in the playoffs. His defense isn't there. And I've said this with Cat numerous times. He's never been a good defender. His defense looked the best when he was next to Rudy Gobert, who's the defensive player of the year, a 4-time DPOY. And then even playing next to OG and McHale and Josh Hart, it's like Brunson damn near is giving more effort on defense. And he's smaller, so it's going to be easier to score on Brunson. But it's like Cat didn't give effort until OG went out. And then when OG came back, that defense went down again. So I think, I agree with the hot take that Brunson is top 3 in the NBA. No, but he is lower tier top 10 for me because I did have him. I had him around 9 or 10 in the offseason when I did my top 10 going into the season. Like, he had a really good year last year. Led the Knicks to the Eastern Conference Finals. Like I said, Jack bring up a good point. He don't got an insane usage rate. And so I do like what Brunson is able to do. And I've been a fan of Brunson since he was at Villanova. So I do like Jalen Brunson. He's a great player, amazing player. I don't think he's top 3, but Jack does bring up some good points. Like a guy like Luka, his usage rate is insane. And Luka, he's not in that conversation as far as Jokic and Halliburton goes as top playmaker because he just commits egregious turnovers. This year's been better because he has Aiden instead of Hayes, who Aiden is just better than Hayes, simply put. But it's like some of the turnovers he has is just egregious, where it's like Jokic and Hallie, when healthy, of course, are the obvious 2 best playmakers in the NBA. And it's like I don't think you can put him in that same conversation with playmakers, those 2. Because yes, he gets the assists, but they also get the assists. And Jokic and Halliburton get a lot of assists too. But you also have to look at how many turnovers these guys are committing, because that also goes into playmaking. And with a higher usage rate, you are going to be able to do that. Like, obviously, that's not trying to say that he's not able to perform the way that he's able to. But guys with higher usage rates, I can get that. I would still put Luka over Brunson, though. We have seen Luka elevate in the playoffs as well. But from a usage rate perspective, I can understand that. Like I said, I got on lower end, top 10. Mitchell and Brunson, that's an interesting conversation. I'd probably lean on Brunson, to be honest, because what are we seeing Mitchell do in the last? Mitchell's elevated his scoring, but he hasn't elevated the team offense. So that's very true. Now, I don't understand why he values playoff production. I don't have a problem with that. Playoffs are very important, but you also look at regular season too, because it's a much larger sample size for you to judge off of. And it's like it can tell, like even Karl-Anthony Towns, like he used that as an example. Like I've seen it's spurts where he'll give you good defense and he'll just not try at all. So, but then when it's like an Anthony Edwards, like he's super consistent in the regular season, then he steps up comes playoff time. Like I still give Anthony Edwards that nod over Brunson. Like I said, Brunson, he isn't saying Brunson is top 3. It's not. I like it for the sake of the hot take because I don't agree with it, but the arguments he made was really good. I think the main reason is just certain players I just wouldn't put them over because I just think they're simply better playoff performers. Even on the scale of how good they are in the regular season, you can balance it and say that they're about even, like a Brunson and Giannis, Luka, like regular season, probably around the same. Like these are all NBA caliber guys. But when it comes to the playoffs, I'm still taking Anthony Edwards over Brunson unless it's conference finals. But anything prior to conference finals, but just in general, I think Ant's the better playoff performer. And Wemby, I'm unsure of because we haven't seen him in the playoffs yet, so I can't say if Wemby is top 3 yet because we haven't seen him. Halliburton and Tatum went healthy in the top 10, but obviously he didn't include them because they're injured right now. So that does open up some spots. So maybe with those guys out, maybe he's pushing top 5. Mitchell with another early playoff exit, especially depending on. And if Mitchell and Harden play together, that's a terrible fit. I don't care what anybody says. Them two cannot play together. That fit would be terrible. But I like this hot take. Probably one of my favorite ones because this is the longest I've talked about a hot take on here. But yeah, good hot take. I disagree with it, but I like the argument Jack provided because he is effective without a high usage rate. But Jalen Brunson, top 3. Is Jalen Brunson the third best player in the NBA behind Jokic and Shea? Let me know what y'all think. Now, moving into the recap of Raw. Dropped a few shorts earlier. I think I dropped about 4. I dropped 4 shorts earlier about Raw. So that was cool. Wasn't This was probably the worst Raw of the year. Yeah, this was definitely the worst Raw of the year. I didn't enjoy it one bit because I talked about the stuff in my shorts. So check that out if you didn't see it. But I'm trying to see where there's so much weird stuff with this Raw. Like Stephanie still keeping the championship. Like, you could have just gave it to Raquel. Would have made the most sense for the story. Excuse me. The Roman and Punk promo. It was Roman did his thing, but Punk, he kept lying throughout the promo. Obafemi just squashed the War Raiders who are in the tag team division. I didn't get that. Was anything I enjoyed about? It was another short that I dropped, and then Adam Pearce, he didn't make sense either. He was talking crazy to Braun Breaker. He said he had a piss poor performance, but it's like, how is that a piss poor performance when he got attacked? But speaking of Braun Breaker, Adam Pearce didn't want to give Braun Breaker a match versus LA Knight, but he wanted to give him a match against LA Knight, but because he escorted him out the building for interrupting his show, even though that didn't make sense when the Division started it, then he never left the building. So Braun Breaker versus LA Knight just didn't happen. And I don't think they're saving it for WrestleMania because it's like, what's the purpose of stretching it out? It's 2 more months. There's no point in doing that. Like, I don't see them stretching the story out till April. Like, it's already gone long enough. I just let LA Knight, Penta, and whoever else beat Division, or let Division beat them at Elimination Chamber. Then you move on and have something else for them to do going into WrestleMania. Because in March, you don't have a pay-per-view. So you got all of March and then a few weeks in April to keep building up to WrestleMania. And obviously, you got to use Elimination Chamber as well. And so I don't see where this is going. And then you had Penta defeat Brunson Reed, do the count-out. You had LA Knight get involved. Then he's running from Division again. And it's like, why does Penta have to beat Brunson Reed? Like, I like Penta, but Brunson Reed can't get a win. Like, you just got Brunson Reed. He keep kissing up to Braun Breaker saying, yeah, I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to do this. It's like Brunson Reed can be more than that. Why does he only have to, like, he can't cape for himself. He can't advocate for himself. Why is he only, like, that don't make sense to me. Like, I rock with both of them, but Brunson Reed would have benefited more from the win because it make the Division look weak. Like, the Division got the numbers game, so they should be like, okay, like a lot of factions have had the numbers game and a lot of factions win. So it's like same story with Division, right? Well, for Division, it would make sense. You want to establish them as, oh, we're the future. We're going to be tag champions. We're going to have a world title, the IC title. Like, Brunson Reed losing to Penta, what does that accomplish? You don't gain nothing from doing that. Like, solid match, but it's like the interference toward the end. Penta winning by count out. Like, if you're going to give him the win, just have him pin him. Why you got to? This is the second time Brunson Reed has lost by count out, too. Like, I don't think this protects Brunson Reed, to be honest. He lost to Melo by count out as well. Like, he's a big guy, but this is telling me that you're afraid to book him against certain people. I just don't feel like you're protecting Braun Breaker. Like, I'm not Braun Breaker, Brunson Reed. And then Braun Breaker interfered in one of Brunson Reed's match versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship. So I don't get this. Now I'm going to be all over the place with this. So I'm going to circle to the beginning of the show, which was really the best part. Not the Braun Breaker thing. Javon Evans versus El Grande Americano, which is Ludwig Kaiser. So, well, he's the fake El Grande. Javon Evans went crazy. He won the match. Now he didn't beat all 3 Americanos. Well, he didn't beat 3 of the 4 because the original El Grande came out there and cost the fake El Grande the match. Javon Evans thanked the real El Grande, so that was pretty funny. Yeah, so I like that part of the show. That was cool. Gunther, Gunther dominated Dragon Lee. He viciously attacked him. I don't know what else to say about that. Dragon Lee tried to defend AJ Styles. He didn't like the disrespect on his name. It didn't work out. Better luck next time, Dragon. Finn Balor wants the World Heavyweight Championship. You already lost clean. So I don't know. His only path is Elimination Chamber, but Roman Reigns already chose Punk. So it's like, are they gonna do an Elimination Chamber match with CM Punk and Finn Balor? Like, is that the goal? Like, I know CM Punk called them out, but why run them? But why run the match again if Finn Balor's just gonna lose? Because like, you're not finna do a triple threat involving Finn. Like, the money's already there. You're already making the money now. So like, maybe you're gonna sell Mania off of Roman versus Punk because that's a dream match that everybody wanted. Not everybody, but most people. So Finn, he gonna get another shot. Like, at least there's some type of story to it, but he already got a shot and lost clean. So why try to make a story out of that? Like, he didn't try to slight Punk didn't try to slight Finn. Like, he gave him his respect. I don't know what that was about. The Alpha Academy are taking on the Usos next week, and Maxine is taking on Natty. Cool. Don't care. And they were with a random celebrity again. Like, who are these people? Oh, the Bella Twins won't tag gold. This was interesting. This segment wasn't great. No. The promo was meh. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't good either, but it was all right. So they came back. They won't tag gold. Nikki is just the face again because why not? Like, okay, she's just the face again. And then I don't know if they were booing or what, but Bree, I think they were booing. Then Bree was like, I think they're saying cool. Then the crowd popped. So that was funny. Nikki was like, you can't blame me for having taste. So her acknowledging the relationship is, that's cool. I already talked about it. Here's what it is. They're both grown. They can do it. They can do what they want. That don't concern me. But Nikki Bella, Brie Bella, the Bella Twins back together. They're going to help the tag team division because now that you have them, you can take out one of those makeshift tag teams. Probably two of them. You can get rid of one or two of those makeshift tag teams and have the Bellas go on a legitimate run as tag champions. Then they put over a younger team. Like, maybe by the time they win the tag titles, if they call up JC Jane, bring up all the Fatal Influence, have JC Jane going after the IC title, and then have Fatal Influence, Lady Reed and Fallon Henley going after the tag titles, and maybe they beat the Bella Twins. So, because I think you call up JC Jane, just send the other two with her, but put them in the tag team division. Because even if you don't think they're ready, don't just leave them in the shuffle in NXT. Because without JC Jane, what are they gonna do? So keep them all together. You had them come up as a faction. You can automatically have them doing trios matches. Well, the 6-woman tag matches against teams competing for championships. Like, it'd be really cool. Then 3 matches in 2.5 hours. Obviously, a show is about. Obviously, we care about storytelling, but you want to see matches too. 3 matches. You can get 3 matches done in 1 hour if you really want to. Like, I've seen it done in multiple companies, even in WWE. I've seen them get 3 matches done in 1 hour. You had 3 matches, and 3 matches. That's the minimum for a 1 hour show. You did 3 matches in 2.5 hours. That's embarrassing. And that Obafemi thing, I'm not counting. He just buried a tag team in 30 seconds with 2 big ass dudes for no reason. So you had plenty of time. That's 3 matches in 2.5 hours. You could build some stories for some of those matches, like 3 matches in 2.5 hours. That's nasty. The last segment, I think it was like 20 minutes. I don't even have a problem with that. I think it was 20. It might have been long. I don't even think it was longer than 20. I was like, 20 minutes is the most I'll accept for a promo at this point. And I think it was that. I could be wrong, but Punk and Roman segment didn't feel super long. I was actually a fan of the time that they had. But it's like, you have a 2.5 hour show and only produce 3 matches? Come on. You got to do more than that. That's what I expect out of a 1 hour show. Maybe 1.5 hours. But 3 matches in 2 hours, in 2.5 hours also ruined the show for me. So I give Raw 4.5 out of 10. That was the worst Monday Night Raw of the year. And for January, I think on average, it was like Raw was all right in January, but this is a bad way to start February. A bad Raw post Royal Rumble. Didn't enjoy this one bit. I give it a 4.5 out of 10. But maybe the Bella Twins will be tag champions at WrestleMania. That'd be cool. All right, time for the injury report. Rey Mysterio wasn't injured, I guess. He came back in the Royal Rumble. I'll stick with wrestling since we're just on that. Rey Mysterio came back in the Royal Rumble. So I don't know if his injury was kayfabe or if he was actually injured and then they just cleared him last minute to come back. Excuse me. But that was, I still think he needs to retire though, because that wasn't part of, because it clearly wasn't part of a storyline. They just brushed over it. Javon Evans came back as well because we already knew he was injured. He had announced it, but he did come back. So he's seen. Then he was the Iron Man too, and Javon Evans was doing his thing. He was going crazy in the Royal Rumble. I keep checking my phone to see if there's any trade updates, but nothing is happening. But yeah, Javon Evans, he was doing his thing in the Royal Rumble. Taco Falls in the Celebrity All-Star game. Okay. But that's what I was saying. But Rey Mysterio, it's like I thought he was injured, but I guess he wasn't. I'm like, okay, that's like I'm glad that he's not injured, but it's like I still feel like he would be better off retiring at this point. So I don't. Maybe he don't need. Maybe he feel like he doesn't need to retire, but we'll see. And then you had Jokic. He just came back from injury. He's doing his thing coming back. He had a 31-point game versus the Clippers. He had 31 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 steals while shooting 8 of 11 field goal, 2 of 3 from 3, 13 of 17 from the line, and a win versus the Clippers. Epic performance, played really great. And now people are excusing his poor performance the following days later. 2 days later, where he had 16.7 rebounds and 8 assists, along with a steal on 6 and 9 from the field, 1 and 2 from 3, and 3 or 4 from the free throw line. Shea severely outplayed him, and people are using the injury excuse, even though we just seen him come back and drop a 31-point double-double. So I'm not using the injury excuse. Like, obviously, he just came back. At the end of the day, if he's playing, he's playing. So even that game alone isn't a bad performance. If Jared Allen had that same performance, people would just be, why didn't he get, what was the block set if Jared Allen had that type of performance? Because Jared Allen just had 40 and 17. And now people think he pulled a Paul George because we don't know where that came from. But if Jared Allen gave you 16, 8, and 7, you would be shocked because why does Jared Allen have 7 assists or 8 assists? But for Jokic standards, that's not a great game. It wasn't a bad game. He was still solid, but they lost to OKC. Shea outperformed him heavily. But I know he just came back, but can't be using that excuse all the time. But he just came back. But yeah, he's back and he's playing now. So acknowledge the game, acknowledge how he played. Now for the other NBA injuries, because I'm gonna talk about the NBA, then I'm gonna go to the NHL since that's gonna be the closing segment. I didn't put. Okay, I don't know why I went down. And the Hawks, when did Duop Reef go to the Hawks? He got traded? Oh, that sucks. Okay, Duop Reef. Anyways, the important people. Who is Inlay and Fale Dante? I'm not even trying to be rude, but who is that? When did he go to the Hawks? Said he tore his ACL on December 23rd. Damn. The Celtics ruled out Tatum for the season. So good. They can let him get fully healthy. He'll just be back next year. That's good. The Hawks, they're still missing Porzingis and Kongwu. They're expecting Porzingis back on the 3rd. So tonight, so he's questionable for tonight. They expect the Kongwu back on the 5th, so in 2 days, which will be the next podcast episode. Hopefully we get some trades by then. And the Nets, they're expecting Zaire Williams and Noah Clowney back tonight. So they're both probable. Expecting Haywood Highsmith on the 31st. When did he get traded? I thought he was still on the Heat, but Haywood Highsmith on the Nets for whatever reason. And KJ Simpson, he's been out with a hip injury, but he's supposed to be back on the 7th. Mason Plumlee's supposed to be back post All-Star break for the Hornets. Maybe the Hornets can be decent. We'll see. The Bulls injury report is crazy. Goodness. So they got a lot of guys coming back soon. And then Schroeder and Keon Ellis, they're day-to-day. Oh, so they're just getting physicals. I think if they could be able to play tomorrow, if they're physical combat. Garland, he's out. He might be getting traded. Then Mobley's out. There's 11. That calf been bothering him all year. Man. Max Strus is out. Post All-Star. He should be back on the 19th. So, wait, is that post? Yeah, because the All-Star is before the 19th, if I'm not mistaken. The Mavs, they might be blowing things up, so I don't know where the Lively out all season. That sucks. October 1st, his return. The Nuggets, Cam Johnson, Aaron Gordon, Christian Braun still out. Aaron Gordon's supposed to be back on, well, he's supposed to get reevaluated in 4 to 6 weeks, but he could be back at earliest on the 27th. Cam Johnson is supposed to be back tomorrow, so that's going to be much needed. He's been ruled out today for his knee injury, so I'm sure he's getting that final test to see if he's good to go on versus, I don't know who they play, but they're trying to see if he's good to go on Wednesday, which is tomorrow. Steph, he's not playing today versus 76ers, said knee. That might be rest. I don't remember seeing a Steph injury. Obviously, Jimmy out for the season. Kevin Durant, he was ruled out of the Pacers game last night, so he was day-to-day. He's supposed to be back tomorrow. Steven Adams announced he was out for the season as well. I don't think I covered that last week, but that's going to suck for the Rockets. And Obi Toppin's supposed to be back February 19th. Said he's ahead of schedule in his recovery, so that's good. Don't really have a timetable, but somewhere around like that mid to late February mark, he shall be back. Why is Bronny questionable against the Nets? Reeves is also questionable, but I don't think he plays today. If we have a back-to-back, he'll just return tomorrow. So I think, because we do play the Nets today, and then on the 4th, we also play on the 4th? Because we play on the 4th, he could just, no, we don't play. So Reeves could come back tonight, but in limited minutes. But if not, then just bring him back whenever we play again next, which might be the 5th, which I also think is I think the Olympics, the Winter Olympics start on the 6th. And then for the NHL, Anaheim Ducks, Leo Carlson, he's been put on injury reserve, but he could be back in the next 22 days. Obviously, they don't have the Olympic break in between time. Instead of All-Star weekend, NHL is getting the Olympic break for the Winter Olympics. So some of these guys are going to be able to recover over that time. Calgary, Blake Coleman, he had an upper body injury. He's not available to a post-Olympic break. So, yeah, so some of these injuries that happened recently, not obviously injuries suck, but if they happen more recently, it might be if they happen more recently, then it's a good thing. Not that they're injured, but a good thing because the Olympic break allows all the action to stop. So you don't have to worry about, if we just lost this guy, then he's not going to miss like the 10 games. He might miss 2 games because of the Olympic break that's coming up. Like the Red Wings with Simon Edwardson, like the All-Star break, the Olympic break is coming up. Seth Jones is still out, which I talked about. They moved into the long-term IR on the 19th of January, but he could be back after the Olympic break. Alex Turcoto could be back post-Olympic break for the Kings, who I was just watching last night. So, yeah, that Olympic break is definitely going to help some of these guys because it gives them a break to rest up, and the teams aren't playing in that time. So, really, it's hoping for the teams and the players. Obviously, the players are going to get healthy regardless. And they're not in no need to rush back. But, yeah, because the teams are not going to be playing no games. They're just going to be in the Olympics. Now, prayers up to everybody in the Olympics. I don't want nobody to get hurt. That is possible. Hopefully it doesn't happen, but injuries could happen in the Olympics. Hopefully it doesn't. But I do want to see some fights. But since we're on the NHL, are we buying the Columbus Blue Jackets? They're 9-1. Are we buying their hot streak? Can they make the playoffs? They're 9-1 and 0 in their last 10. They're currently on a 5-game winning streak, have improved to 27, 20, and 7. And that last 7 is for their overtime losses. So in total, they have 27 wins and 27 losses, but 7 of which were overtime losses. They're the first team in the East out of the wild card by 3 games. So their momentum, they went from one of the teams that was lower in the East to now just being the first team out the playoffs in the East. So they've been rising these last few weeks. What can they keep riding this wave of momentum? They've only had 2 overtime games in a 10-game stretch, and they won both of those. They went 2-0. And then the one game that they lost in these last 10 was that, I forget which one that. No, it was not. It was something else I was going to talk about. They didn't lose by a wild margin, but it was a game versus the Kings they were supposed to have. That I just mentioned the Kings, the Los Angeles Kings. I just mentioned them. They were supposed to have a game, but that one got postponed. I forgot why the Blue Jackets and Kings game got postponed. But the the Columbus Blue Jackets, they're 9-1 in their last 10 games. Haven't been to overtime twice, won both overtime games. Have a point differential of plus 14, 4 games with 5 or more goals. Yeah, I don't know. It's a random 7 right here. And they have 4 games with 5 or more goals. So they've been really good in these last 10 games. Can they keep this up? Oh, it's possible. I mean, then we can also another important stat, Zach Renitsky, he has 19 points and 41 assists, so he has 60 total points. Has 19 goals. I don't know. He has 60 total points, but he has the 19 goals and 41 assists. He's done a great job as the leader of this team, setting up his teammates, putting them in position to win games lately. They had a slow start, but this is they're one of, if not the hottest team in the NHL at this point, and they started slow. And I think, I wouldn't be surprised if they made a playoff push. I don't think that's in the realm of possibilities because they've been hot. The Olympic break is coming up soon. They got 2. They play the Devils tonight. In New Jersey. It's going to be a tough game, but they could win it. They very well could win it. It's a tough game, but don't be surprised if they're able to pull it out and win it because they got the Devils tonight. They got the Blackhawks tomorrow. So they got a back-to-back going into the Olympic break. They have a back-to-back. They got 2 games. The Blackhawks, they should be a win, but it's going to be tough since it's on the second night of a back-to-back. Then the Devils, it's going to be tough just because they're around the same boat. The Devils are 28 and 25 and 2. So they have 27 losses. The only difference is they've only lost in overtime twice. So you have 2 tough matchups. One because this team is in the same boat as you, and the second one because you're on the second night of a back-to-back against a team that can be sneaky and get a win at any time. Except the Blackhawks, they aren't some pushover who's just losing every game. Like while they don't have a great record, they do have some impressive wins on the season. And then the Blue Jackets, they have 10 players with 20 or more points this season. So I'm sure it's other teams like that. But for a team that started this slow, it's like you'd expect less. But they've started slow. They picked it up in the last 10. They play 2 more games going into the Olympic break. If they can gain some momentum, even if they go 1-1, they don't even have to sweep those matchups. They don't got to win both of them. They just got to go 1-1. Whether they win tonight and lose tomorrow, or win or lose tonight and win tomorrow, either if they can go 1-1, obviously you want to go 2-0 because that'll be more helpful. But if you can go into this Olympic break winning one of your last 2 games on a back-to-back, just be proud of yourself for that. And then that Olympic break, you can reset because the Olympic break is from February 6th to February 25th or 24th. So it's going to be 18. It's going to be 3 weeks with no hockey being played. Well, it's going to be hockey played, just no NHL being played. It's going to be 3 weeks where the NHL is 3 weeks where all the hockey players, top hockey players around the world, will be playing, which is why I think this is why the NHL season started early. If I'm not mistaken, the NHL season started early this year due to this because they knew the Winter Olympics was coming up. So I think they started early due to that. I can't remember what day that they started. Was it the 11th? It's either the 8th. Wait, October 7th. Separate. No, they started October 7th, and they usually start later than that. So they started early, so that way once they come back, they'll be caught up. Because the NBA and NHL usually start in and playoffs happen around the same time. So because of the Winter Olympics, they had to put stuff back or put stuff forward, I guess, and then so they can separate that time. But the Columbus Blue Jackets, can they make a push to the? I think they can make a push to the playoffs. I gotta see. I'm gonna definitely try to check that game out tonight and tomorrow to see if they can keep this up. They're 9-1 in their last 10. They're the first team out of the wild card by 3 games. Just win one of those 2 games that you have coming up to beat 2. If you do win 2, that'd be impressive because you don't know what those other teams ahead of you might do. But as long as they focus on what they're doing, focus on their game plan, they'll be fine. Just don't worry about the playoffs now. You're going into the Olympic break. Once you come back, you still have plenty of time left. You're 54 games to the season. So you still have around 20-something, 20 to 30-something games left. Well, 20-something because it's an 82-game season. So you're at, what you're at, 27. So you're at 54, I think. So, yeah, you're at 54 games at this point. Then you still going to have 20-something left. What's 82 minus 54? 28. You'll still have 28 games left. So you still have time to catch up to whoever's ahead of you. So I think they can do it. Would I be surprised? No, because of how hot they've been. I just want to see them keep up this momentum. And if they can keep it up, I will drop a short that'll come back to this. And I'll leave it to come. And I'll link it to this live stream and talk about how I did say they could potentially make a run. I would not be shocked. They can make a run to the playoffs. I don't think they can make a run to the cup. But they can definitely get into the playoffs as a wild card. Maybe have a competitive series. I think, because I don't think they're a pushover. I think now that they've finally started to put things together, they're going to be a tough team to beat. But I really like this. I'm liking this Columbus Blue Jackets squad. I think it's definitely a better season than what they did last year. But with that being said, let me know what y'all think. Do y'all think the Columbus Blue Jackets can make a push toward the playoffs this season? But with that being said, leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, a comment, share for us to see. And yeah, we're going to keep pushing out sports content. The Super Bowl predictions will be out tomorrow. But yeah, we talked about a lot here. Once again, like, comment, subscribe. We talked about the Columbus Blue Jackets. Can they stay this hot? And Jokic is back from injury. He's looking good. WWE Raw, worst episode of the year. In my opinion, it was. Jalen Brunson, is he a top 3 player in the National Basketball Association? Is Timmy Tan truly the X factor for the 900 Global? And the Akron rifle team lost by 100. Can the rifle team pick it up and be the one team to be a positive for the University of Akron next week? As swimming and diving went crazy, men's basketball got 2 wins again, and the women's team finally broke their 8-game losing streak. So that wraps it up for Sports Fanatic Forum, episode 7. Peace.